Hello, Internet. Welcome to probably the final episode of Crusader Kings 3. Um, so we talked a couple episodes ago about my main complaints with the game and was just kind of like, I just wanted to get some of it off my chest. I thought it would make me feel better. We played another episode, and then honestly, like, I don't really want to play anymore. I stopped enjoying the game, pretty quickly into this series. I do think the game is a little bit lackluster. It doesn't have as many features as I sort of want it to have. It seems like, sometimes it just seems like the game is seeking to punish you. Like, so I complained about in a previous episode, every time we get a faction and we take care of it, it would pop up that we had a new faction pop up. I experienced that in my Asturias game as well. I think once you get to a certain size, the game starts stacking things against you. Where once you get to a certain size, it seems like I always have one faction that's trying to dethrone me. No matter what I do, it's always one faction, and then as soon as it disbands, another one will pop up. Because, like, oh, I get a faction, and I'm like, okay, this guy hates me, let's fix it. So we fix it, and the literal instant that I would finish that faction and clear it out, it would literally that next day pop up a new faction. It just seems like if it were natural, it would be all the factions firing at once. It wouldn't be every time I clear one, I get another one. So I just kind of wondered if, like, maybe that's a step that they've taken to try and make it more difficult to manage a large realm, or maybe it's completely coincidental. I really don't know, but honestly, the more I play the game, the more I'm like, okay, this is just annoying. Okay, that's annoying. Why is this happening? Okay, this little 300 man vassal declared war on me. What do I do now? It's so, why are you taking a war with me? Or I'll be at war with someone and it'll be like, oh, they have 65 men. And then an ally joins the war or something, and it's like they have 3,000 men, and you look at the number and you're like, okay, a minute ago you had 61 levies. Why do you now have 2,000 levies? Why did that happen? Did you magically absorb something that gave you 2,000 men? I just feel like I'm missing. I feel like I don't understand things, and the game doesn't explain some of the stuff that I'm really confused about, it just becomes frustrating. And I'm not trying to blame the game. There are things wrong with the game. It's really not even about that. It's mostly I'm just not having fun playing anymore. And I don't know. We got 20 some odd episodes out of it. I'm pretty okay with where we got. I was looking. So I watched some YouTube of other people playing because I was like, okay, I want to learn to be better at the game. So I was like, all right, I'll watch some other people play. And honestly, most of them also call it after like 100 years, which I can't believe we've only played 55 years. But like other people are not playing full games. They're playing for a little while. And then they're like, okay, we're going to start a new game as a different country to try and experience something new. Okay, now we're going to try an Asian game, that sort of thing. So it's like, I see other YouTubers that are also not really finishing the game, so I don't feel too bad about that. I will say the support on the series was good. I appreciate everyone who left me comments, the people who tried to help me with things I didn't understand, and honestly, the watch time on this series was quite good. Normally, I make a 30-minute video, and the average watch time is like 3, 4, 5 minutes. For Crusader Kings, it was really good, 20 plus minutes a lot of the time, and what that tells me is that maybe I'm not advertising super well because the view count was pretty low, but the people who were watching were really enjoying it because they were watching basically the full episode. So to those of you who've watched the whole series, to those of you who really like the game, I apologize. I know that it always sucks when my favorite YouTuber cancels a series. I tried to be transparent about it, but honestly, it was pretty short notice. It's only been a couple episodes since I mentioned I would like to stop playing, but I think we're done. I think the Kingdom of Agder had a nice little run. We can't believe we've only played 55 years. It's been like 11 and 12, 13 hours of gameplay, and I'm only 55 years in. Playing this all the way to completion would take forever. But we became a large, strong nation. I do think that Sweden might overtake us if I kept playing. They're bigger than us were struggling with alliances and things like that. We could secure some basic alliances for a little more safety, but I do think Sweden probably would eventually go to war with us, and we might not be able to stop them. So I'm not sure we would actually like win the game if we kept playing, because Sweden is so expansive and large, and their vassals, unlike my vassals are a lot of infighting. They're fighting with each other throughout the game, but I never really saw a vassal except for Thomond. The taking of Thomond, I've never seen one of my vassals actually war on my behalf. Whereas Sweden, like we discussed, I think they're at war with Shaland, right? One of his vassals is currently attacking Shaland in a subjugation war, which means Sweden isn't even doing the work. One of his vassals is about to completely gobble up a whole country for Sweden, and it will become part of Sweden. So, like, our vassals haven't really done that, and that's been the main thing, I think, that's been making Sweden so or so expansive, is that they have allies working for them on the regular, whereas ours are very much inwardly focused. Additionally, I think I'm a slow player. I don't think I play very quickly. I think last episode we took part of Argetto and Pajanma, which was the most expansive episode we've had, because normally it would take me an episode or two just to declare a war and finish it. So I think between that and the fact that we keep having succession where we lose fame and can't declare on duchies, I think that's mainly what's holding us back. So yeah, I do think Sweden probably would fight us and we'd eventually lose. But I don't know. I just don't want to play anymore. I just don't really want to play anymore. I would encourage you. I do think that despite all my complaining, I think that Crusader Kings 3 is a fine game. I think that it's a little basic, and I think it's lacking the complexity of Crusader Kings 2. But if you're, at the very least, if you're curious about the game, you should definitely check it out. My understanding is that it's on Game Pass. You can frequently get the Game Pass for like $1 or $2 if there's like a deal or you've never had it before. I would encourage you to check it out. I do think that $50, or whatever the price actually is too much, and it's not worth that money, especially because you will end up paying, another $200 over the course of the next 5-10 years for DLC just to make the game more complicated and more complex. So I think it's worth a try, but I don't think it's necessarily worth your money. I personally regret purchasing the game. I wish I had just played it through Game Pass, because I probably will never play it again. Frankly, I like Crusader Kings 2 a lot better. And honestly, I'm not even a fan of like the single person game style. I prefer playing as a unified nation. Like in EU4, you play as a country rather than an individual. So like personally, I'm more of that kind of guy. But yeah, I don't think it's like terrible. I think it could have been better. And I think that the stress system connected to your traits is such a huge misstep. And I don't hear people complaining about it, and it shocks me because it's like the one major issue I have with the game, and no one seems to be bothered by it, which is crazy to me because it's so impairing. But anyway, I hear the neighborhood dogs barking, and it's going to agitate my puppers. So why don't we wrap this up? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate, of course, that you came and spent time with me in this series. I apologize that it didn't last longer, and I apologize that I got pretty salty partway through. But hopefully we'll be back with something entertaining for you to watch in the near future. I am looking at some other games, and I've been thinking about some other grand strategy stuff. We'll just see how that shakes out. But really, regardless, I, of course, will continue making content, and I would encourage you to check back on the channel in the near future for something new. So for now, everybody, thank you for watching. Really do appreciate it. And I, of course, will see you in some other series.